Shalom, family. Good to see everyone here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about how many of these immigrants come over here and they give you this very false narrative about their home countries. Or they'll even get on, and I've listened to some of the live streams, and they'll insist that their home country looks better than our hood, and they make all accusations like we are the lowest form on the entire face of the earth. And we know all this stuff is false. We know it's false even if it comes from white people. There was a time they used to try to make us feel that way, but even they get a lot of pushback. We First of all, they don't have no right to talk about us anyway because they have spent centuries sabotaging us. So, where do you get off talking about us? But it's bad enough we're dealing with that. But we're dealing with people that come from places that aren't fit for humans. And yet they come over here and try to place us beneath them. There is no way in hell when you look at these places that we are even close to being beneath them. If you live in these slums, you are truly at rock bottom. And that is the truth. Our hoods don't even look like that. You can say what you want about the hood. One thing I can say about the hood got electricity. The hood got running water. The hood got toilets. Okay? The hood got washers and dryers in their homes. Okay? I mean, I grew up in the hood. And even back in those times, we had every last one of the things that I mentioned. We weren't lacking in none of that, even in the hood. So when y'all come over here and you paint these false narratives about your homeland, it is downright laughable. So we're going to talk about Nigeria, because these Nigerians seem to have the biggest mouth online, and they really shouldn't. I found out a lot of things about Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know Nigerians do not own their own land? And do you know how many times I've heard Nigerians lie on live stream, talk about all this land they got back home? And I said, you know what it is? They think we don't know, or we can't find this stuff out. Nigerians' land belongs to the government, y'all. They're not even owners of the land. The land belongs to the government. Only 5% of the land don't belong to the government. But these Nigerians can't even own their own land in their own country. Did you know that? 95% of Nigerian land all belongs to the government. Now, they can work out leasing deals and stuff like that, but they don't own the land. And I've heard some of them lie and say, oh, I got all this land back home. I have heard them say that, y'all. They can't even own the land. Anybody can look this up about Nigeria. And when you really think about it, they don't even own 95%. China now owns it. China now owns Nigeria. So really, China owns 95% of Nigerian land. And it gets even worse. In the rural areas, that's where the poor lives, there is no electricity, nor has there ever been electricity in these areas. Do you know who got electricity in Nigeria? Rich people. Rich people have running water, toilets, electricity. They have all the amenities that we have in just a regular household over here in America. Their rich people are not lacking it, but if you're not rich in in Nigeria, then you don't have these type of amenities. The poor people over there have no electricity, no running water, and some of them have water in these tin containers, but even those containers will run out of water and they still got to physically go out and fetch water themselves. So it is, man, when I start pulling up the information on this, it blew my mind. Hold on, I'm going to show y'all. They have a couple of different slums, but Makoko is their floating slum. It's called Makoko. Okay. And it's really not that many rich people. Their rich people is way smaller than the rich people in our community. And if they tell you they got more rich Nigerians than we do FBA, they're lying. They're lying. And this stuff is not hard to look up. They list rich people, and you really got to look at their rich people because a lot of them are white that happen to live in Nigeria. So they're not even actual Nigerians. They're people of other, of other races from other countries that happen to live in Nigeria. So it's not the actual Nigerian natives that are rich. So you got to really look at the ones they got listed. There's far fewer rich people than we have here. So if they try to tell you there's more rich Nigerians than FBA, they're lying. They're lying. And this stuff ain't even hard to look up. The rich people are like pretty much rich people are really universal when it comes down to helping people. The rich over there do not help these poor people that live in these rural shanty towns and slums. They don't help them. They don't help them. That's why it makes me laugh when Nigerians be bragging about they're rich. It's rich people that don't even help you. Rich people that don't even help the less fortunate that's over there. They don't do that at all. They don't even really interact with these poor behind people that are all up in these slums at all. They are so far removed from them, it's not even funny. Rich people over here don't help us either. You know, they all this is the Gentile world. So the rich are going to be selfish, self-centered, and all about themselves. I mean, this is a universal thing all over the world. So you see this floating slum, right? Surrounded in water. They were comparing it to Venice, but I've been to Venice before, and no, this is far worse than Venice. This is far worse than Venice, y'all. It really truly is. Um, Even when you look at the aerial shots, you can clearly see the water is brown. Hold on, let me see. There you go, right here. The water, y'all, is brown. It is absolutely disgusting. In Makoko, it's brown water. And I was looking at a video not long ago, and this white man was over there and he got in one of their canoes and floated around. He said it smelled like raw sewage. And here's the worst part, y'all. They bathe in that water. They go to the bathroom in that water. They swim in that water. I saw their children swimming around in it. And they do everything in the water. And they said they poop in the water so much to the point where they said the fish won't even come up there. The fish will stay further back from where these slums are. They won't even swim up there. That's how bad it is. But you can clearly see the water is very disgusting. It's brown. All I have to say is, Nigerians, stop coming over here lying about your homeland to us. Stop lying. We are not worse off than you. Maybe you're saying these things because you don't want to be looked at as less than, but this is reality and it is what it is. We are not lower than you, and we have never been lower than you. You're just trying to play that same psychological warfare that white people try to play on us, and we're not going for it. We're not falling for it. Okay. You can quit while you're ahead. We're not falling for the BS that you're trying to tell us at all. Their economy is awful, y'all. You would think a country this big, they would be doing better economically, because they got so many people. They estimate um, Nigeria of having 230 million people. And they said a lot of the children, how they always talk about single family homes. They said a big majority of the children in Nigeria are not in a mother father home. But see, they come over here and try to point this out about us. But this is a very troublesome thing going on in their homeland. These Nigerian men are not there for their children. They're not. But see, that what they do is they cross the ocean and try to get away with saying this about us. But if you really research, first of all, you got to look at the amount of children that are in these slums. And that is very telling to whether those men are there or not. If you're going to let your kid live in a slum, then chances are you're probably not really there for those children. You don't care about those children. But yeah, parenting is a huge thing, a big problem in Nigeria. But again, they come here and try to talk about, look at your women. You got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of nerve. Okay. Y'all got a lot of nerve trying to look at our women. Are you for real? Wow. So let's get back to it. Yeah, so parenting is a huge problem. They talk about us single mothers. It is probably far worse over there in Nigeria. So, you know, they always talk about, oh, education and all that. These folks, y'all, the scamming with the degrees are so bad over there. And I understand why they do it. They live in these slums and these places that are disgusting. And using the fake degree, they see that as an opportunity to get out of the poverty that they're in. But it doesn't make it right to use a degree and not earn your education. It's still wrong. And it's no telling how many of them are working in these hospitals with fake degrees. And that's not the only one. Even engineering, when they come over here as engineers and stuff, that mess is fake too. It is really bad. And let me tell you how bad the fake degrees are. Even the Nigerian president got caught having a fake degree. So if the president got a fake degree, what do you think these people in these slums that are trying to get out? Of course, they got fake degrees. But yes, when their president was running for office, and I believe it was in 2023, yeah, his opponent found out his degree was fake. The president of Nigeria degree was fake. So that says it all. So that tells you how bad the fake degree thing is. It is bad. It is bad. It is bad when your own damn president is caught faking the funk. But that's what it is. So y'all, the reality is, they say all this stuff about their homeland out of pride, but the reality is this place is I don't know why anybody would want to visit this place. Now, I did see a video a couple of months ago of this guy that went over there, FBA guy went over there, and he said the second you step off the plane, they're all up in the airport following you around begging for money. That's what they do. And let me tell you something. We don't do that. You can land at any given airport across America, and you are not going to see herds and herds of our people in these airports harassing people and having our hand out for money. We don't do that here. Even our homeless people don't do that. We got homeless people in our community. Even they don't run through airports harassing people for money. Even our homeless don't stoop that low. But these folks do. He was talking about how horrible it was walking through the airport, and not only these people running you down for money, he said they were saying even the police are corrupt, and even they be trying to get to your money too. And I was like, you know what? I would have no desire to go to a place like that. And like I said before, you can say what you want about us. One thing you can't say is our people are up in these airports running folks down and begging for money. We don't do that. We don't do that. And I don't think they would allow that up in the airports here anyway. They would put that mess to a stop if they saw a bunch of people up there doing that. You know, Mm, mm, mm. And, the sad part is, a lot of them, "Oh, Africa is, gonna be the place." No, you know what I would say to that? Maybe some parts of it, but no, y'all ain't gonna be the it place because you got to do a lot of fixing up to make this the it place on earth, and y'all got a lot of work to do. You really do. You got a lot of work to do. And you're never going to get that done with people running out of the country and going everywhere else. Okay. It is just not bad. And y'all, you know what? To add insult to injury, I also found out rent is going up in the slums. Rent. Can you imagine? You imagine living in these places and in a place like this, like you see on the screen, and rent is going up in a place like oh shit. Yes, rent is going up in the slums. Mhm. Mhm. You live in a dump and the rent is going up in the dump. But no, I'm telling you the honest I'm telling you the truth. Rent is going up in the slums. Wow. I couldn't picture it. I really couldn't, y'all. Mm, mm, mm. Just look at this aerial shot, y'all. You get a good view of how huge Makoko is. It is ginormous. It's a millions of people up in there. Mhm. Yeah, you're gonna hear more. I got a video to show you too from Nigerians and, themselves, because, I mean, these people are here telling so many lies. it doesn't make any sense, but they are. They're here telling so many lies. Again, this is Makoko. You can see the canoes they have. Wow. But yeah, this place is huge, and it's a lot of them all packed up in there. A lot of them packed up in there. I couldn't picture it, but, it's amazing. Like I said, I just can't believe y'all keep coming here and just lying about the environments that you come from. Y'all just keep lying. Yeah, that's kinda distorted. Hold on. Wow. I'm like, how do you live like this? And you don't take no pride in where you live. You don't look at the place and say, "We can do better. Let's do better." Y'all don't have to live like this. I don't care. Even a broke person don't have to live like this. You can fix this place up and do whatever you can to make your neighborhood or wherever you live look better. Shoot, I remember when I was growing up, we lived in the heart of the hood. We would have in the summer, and I know many of you, if you lived in the hood, you did this. You had block parties, and the block party was cleaning everything up, getting the trash out the street, cleaning up the sidewalks, just making the street look better. And we did that. We did that. And where people would have their grills on the porch and you could go to anybody's house and get a hot dog or whatever, something to drink. And we did that. You don't have to let your come on, man. This is horrible. Yeah, and like I said, even at the aerial shots, you can see the water is very filthy. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Yes. Mhm. But no, don't let these people try to make you feel like we are just doing so worse than them because they've been playing this game here in America for a long, long time. Getting on these live streams and lying, talking about how much they're doing better than us and they have more than us and we live worse than them. Our hoods are worse than their slums. Now, you saw the slum, right? We ain't got not one single hood in America that looks worse than these slums. Not one. Okay. We have not one hood in this country that looks worse than these slums. So, no, don't ever let them get away with telling that lie, y'all. Mm-mm. Don't ever let them get away with it again. Because they've been doing that for a while. All right. So you're going to listen to some Nigerians telling the truth about their homeland. All right, hold on one second. Okay, please give me a one if you can see my screen. Oh yeah, you're right. Wish a tether would. You're right. If you look at some of the old slave shacks, Even the old slave shacks did not look that way because that's what our people lived in. When we were going down for my grandmother's funeral, my dad was still living, and I had to do most of the driving into Georgia. And when we went down there, at a certain point, we went past this wooded area, and it was winter time. You could look in between the trees, y'all, and see the old slave shacks up in there. It blew me away. We went past this same spot when I was growing up, but you're a kid. You don't pay attention to stuff like that when you're a child. So, as an adult, when I was behind the wheel driving and I just took a glimpse, you literally can see the old slave shacks up in the woods. And you're right, even the old slave shacks don't look as bad as this Makoko. It didn't, you know? Yeah, you see a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of overgrowth around them. The Smithsonian got a couple of them out of the wood. And so the Smithsonian Institute, they ran in there and got a couple of them. But if you go through certain parts of the South, those shacks are still there. They're still there. You just got to really look. And many of them are right off of highways and stuff that you're driving down. Many of them are. You'd be shocked. All right, y'all. Thank you. Let's get to the video. Thank you.
Nigerians go around lying that they own their own land, but that's not true. Apparently, land in Nigeria is owned by the evil Nigerian government, which is owned by China. And it's so sad because the Nigerian government can actually wake up and decide to demolish houses by Nigerians in Nigeria. About 80% of the land in Nigeria is under the ownership of the government, and only 5% of the land is owned by Nigerians who have title deeds for their land. The other 15% belongs to Nigerians, but it's not under their ownership. Let's watch this video.
Not land ownership in Nigeria.
Ownership of land, yeah, belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. But the community owner of the land, no, it belongs to government.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Nigerians, they are illiterate.
Viewers, apologize. I'm continue.
Land in Nigeria is and will always be owned by the government. Land Use Act is the law that makes it possible for the government to evict anyone from their land today.
This community is recognized by federal governments. We have fully booked units 011 here, but J under ward of the local governments. So we are not just foreigner. This is our home. We have nowhere to go. It was on the 3rd of January 2020. Nigerian Navy came into this our community, asked us to leave. The government to use this place. They brought in caterpillar. They started demolishing our house. We have nowhere to go.
Less than 25% of Nigerian households own land.
And they're right. Those are your rich people. Okay. These poor people, they are on government land. And they're right. What that young man was saying, because all the land belongs to the government will just randomly go in there and bulldoze all of their homes down without notice because they don't care. That land belongs to the government. And whenever they want to make room on the land or have plans for certain things, they just go in there and bulldoze their stuff all down. And they don't care. All right, let's continue.
Less than 5% of all land in Nigeria are registered.
Only less than 5% of Nigerians have title to land.
That is a major drawback to the economy. The effect of this is simple. If you have land and that land is not titled, then do you actually own it? If you have no land papers, then you have no means of drawing equity from that land.
There we have it. You see, Nigerians go around bragging that they're better than South Africa because they own their own land, but it's just a myth. It's just imaginary. It's just in their minds. It's not on paper. Maybe they don't even know what ownership of land is. You cannot say you own land when you don't even know the definition of a title deed. You see, in South Africa, we have title deeds for all our residential land. In South Africa, whether in the townships or villages or towns or cities, we own all our residential land. The only land that we are fighting for, which they are making a mockery of us, is the industrial land. Instead of Nigerians to protest to claim ownership of their houses from the Nigerian evil government, they decided to go and protest for the price of dairy and rice.
Africans, we lie a lot as if we know where we're from. Most of us can't tell you 2 generations past where we are from. And I've had the privilege of traveling in Africa a lot.
You know how especially Nigerians always make this argument that we don't even know who we are. We don't even know who we are. And it's a bogus argument. Many of us can go all the way back to the slaves in our country. And I can name the slaves that were in my family. I know what their names were. And many of you know who the slaves were in your family. I got pictures of some of them. I have, where they were born, what plantation, who the plantation owner. I'm not the only one with this info. Many of you got it too. So he's saying the average Nigerian, ladies and gentlemen, can only go back 2 generations. 2 generations, that's it. But he's saying if you can only go back 2 generations, most Nigerians don't even know who the hell they are. But that's as far back as they can go, y'all. That's it. Can you imagine? These folks have been in our faces all this time screaming about we don't know who we are, and they can go back only 2 generations. Many of us can go back about 7, 8 generations. Okay? Many of us can go back. Man, I know I can go back to my great 3 times great grandmother on both my mom and father's side, y'all. These folks can't even go that far back, but they're arguing with us online, talking about we don't know who we are, but yet we can go further back in the generations than they can. You heard what he said. The average Nigerian can only go back 2 generations, and that's it. That's it. And they're sitting in our faces every day in America talking about you don't know who you are. Trust me, we know who we are a hell of a lot more than they know who they are. And that's a fact. 2 generations. Always remember this stuff, y'all. Let's go on.
As well. And my identity is ubiquitous. Right? It's nobody could tell where I'm from by looking at me. When I'm in Nigeria, they think I'm Igbo. I could go to Ghana, they think I'm Ghanaian. The average Gambian may look at me and look at us and say, you don't look Gambian. I'm just African. So, and part of the book is there's a chapter I talk about life as a hyphen where I'm African. I think I'm from the western part of Africa. That's what I identify the strongest with, is my identity as an African, but I have a Gambian cultural background and heritage.
Black Americans do not have a home. That was what was said on my comment section on my previous video by my African brothers and sisters. Okay, come to think of it for a second. Why do we run from our so-called home and come to live in a homeless land? Why do we do that? Why are we Africans running from poverty, broken system, and war to live in a homeless land? Why are we doing that? Why there was one who stayed, fought, built, and survived through 400 years of air. Black Americans may not know their village or tribe, but let me tell you, these people stayed and built a rhythm, a culture, and an unbroken soul that is unmatched. These people turned pain into power, they turned shame into culture, they made a place that was feeling like nowhere into somewhere. Before you run into my comment section and say they don't have it, ask yourself, what type of home are we Africans running from? And what type of home did Black Americans build? It's nothing.
Okay, y'all, one thing I will say, and I'm going to say it loud and proud, nothing they have built on that continent comes close to matching what we have built here in America. Let me say that again. Nothing on that continent, and yes, I'm saying the whole continent, nothing on that continent comes close to what we have built right here on American soil. They couldn't even compare themselves to us because there is no comparison. Our cities look better. Our neighborhoods look better. Our places of business look better. Our stores look better. Our markets look better. What they got over there don't compare to what we have built over here. The only thing they can do is say, it was the white man. It was the white man. The white man ain't do crap. During chattel slavery, all the work was our forefather and foremothers' labor. All of it. All of it. All right, let's go back, y'all. Let's get back to it.
Part of the reason Nigeria is this messed up is because we have a lot of unplanned parenthood. A lot of people give birth indiscriminately by bringing more burdens into a terrible system that has no plan for them. So when you have unplanned parents who aren't necessarily equipped mentally, psychologically, educationally, physically, and otherwise bring in children, they leave these children to the streets, to their fate. They leave these children to start hustling for themselves as early as possible. So therefore, rather than raise critical thinkers, you have people who are just all about survival. And when you are all about survival, there's no room to think, there's no room to be critical, there's no room to analyze issues. It's just kick and start, push and go.
Now, did you hear what she said? She said there are a lot of unplanned children being born. So they're just laying around pumping out all these children. And these children turn around and pretty much are being raised on the streets out there. That's what she's pretty much saying. These kids when they're literally being raised on the streets out there in Nigeria. And it's a lot of unplanned children being born. So in other words, these kids are all coming in the world out of wedlock, people just laying around pumping out all the kids, but not really giving the kids any good parenting or direction. So many of them are living and growing up off the streets and not through good parenting.
The second problem I see that has bedeviled Nigeria is the issue of leadership, where you've had charlatans, you've had miscreants, you've had thugs, criminals, never-do-wells, evil men, without vision or mission or empathy for their fellow humans who have been able to occupy seats of influence over time. So these people lack the basic principles. They don't even know what to do other than to steal, embezzle, divide and rule, and steal. So you now have a society that is left on its own. No infrastructure, no support, no cohesion, no cooperation, no collaboration. Everything is just on autopilot. So with every new administration, it gets worse. And that is why you end up having thugs. Thuggery is a career right now in Nigeria. Begging is a career right now in Nigeria. Election season, people are easily fooled. You give them 1 cup of rice, they praise you, vote for you, forgetting that 1 cup of rice will not sustain them for 4 years or 8 years or thereabout. They take that cup of rice and see it as their own share of the national cake. This is what you get when the political system deliberately makes sure that the educational industry doesn't grow. This is why they allocate more money to buying cars every year than investing in education, because they know that the more illiterates, the more less critical thinkers they have, the more it is easy to give them face caps and steal their votes, the more it is easy to oppress and suppress them. So in as much as I blame the government a whole lot, I also blame the family unit. The family unit has failed in Nigeria. And we need to start by checking ourselves, because if you're waiting for the government to be responsible and start bringing policies that will benefit the masses, I think we'll be waiting for a very long time. We need to start checking ourselves. If you're not okay, if you've not been able to attain certain level status, I see no reason why you should be bringing kids into this world. And if at all you want to have kids, I think 1 should be enough. Because the way Nigeria is going, Somalia would become a heaven to us if we continue like this.
There are no Nigerians. We have Ijaw people, we have ethnic people, we have Yorubas, we have Hausas, we have different nationalities. So we cannot make a constitution for ourselves, for non-existent people. There is nobody called Nigerian. We are different nations that were brought together, tinkered together by the British colonialists. We want Nigeria to disintegrate. Nigeria is a false creation.
2026, and we got a Nigerian saying ain't no such thing as Nigeria.
So who lying now?
You gotta be shitting me. All these proud Nigerians on this God-forsaken app with track phones from Biden. We've been telling these motherfuckers Nigeria was made up.
I'm a proud Nigerian. Nigeria forever.
Fuck Nigeria. You're just a bunch of concocted people trying to come up with some shit, but you can't. So you just in disarray. Now you want this shit disassembled when the copper tone brunette American men and women told you motherfuckers you not that. Ding, like.
Anything I learned from you guys is also, I'm also going to use it to have a conversation with only you two. I cannot use it as
the same thing implies to you, because if you are sitting there Nigeria telling me that Nigeria is better than Ghana, while the whole world know that Nigeria is not the safest place. Nigeria GDP per capita is worse. And so I will never engage a country like Nigeria in terms of international platforms. I will never do that, because when you rank Africa, countries that they are doing better for their citizens, Nigeria is worse. Nigeria. Now you said that guy made a comment that yes, Nigeria is having a bigger country, and your GDP will be better and bigger than Ghana. But now let me tell you something. How do we weigh a country that a country is doing better?
But on a serious note, Ghana is just like a state in Nigeria.
Good. Ghana is just like a state in Nigeria.
No, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
I want to give you an example of that. There is a state in Nigeria right now that is having 247 right in Nigeria, even in that Nigeria. So
are you not a disgrace of yourself?
A state. Are you talking about the whole state or one state?
Listen, there is something I want to tell you.
Okay, tell us. We are quite tell us.
There is something I want
you want to know, or you want to
know this.
Okay, tell us.
Tell us.
Okay, what is the size of Ghana, landmass? What is the size of Ghana?
Forget about the size. We are talking about now. You raise the topic on.
Do you know
life.
the size?
I don't know the.
We don't know. We don't want to know the size.
Now, if we want to give, for instance, Lagos or Ogun State or Abia State or Abuja Light, the budget we are going to make for that one state is what Ghana will use for
but
the whole Ghana.
I was thinking.
Do you understand
Nigeria has money more than Ghana.
Yeah.
You are billionaires.
Wait.
Are you saying that you are billionaires?
Pina, you hold on. You just build your point.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
That is why I'm saying Ghana is just like one state in Nigeria.
Okay.
And when it has to do with population and everything, you understand?
Okay.
The people. I just told you now that one state in Nigeria is having stable rights. Now, if we are going to be comparing Ghana and something in Nigeria, it's not going to be a whole of Nigeria. That's a slap in the face.
I don't blame you, Mr. Vic. Because they cannot even have right to watch African Cup. So they're so confused.
He's still saying that. He's still saying that.
No.
Okay.
See, I don't blame you. If you are saying that one particular place in Nigeria having lights, having lights, it's not the
people are learning from us. We should people are learning. The people that are going to watch the show
cannot be learning anything from your life. For some podcast, you'll be lying.
They are not. He's not. Don't say that.
Okay.
Because what you are saying, you are not coming with facts. You are not coming with facts. If you are coming with facts, if you are coming with facts,
we started this podcast. He wants to paint Nigeria as a sellout. Now I started asking him questions. He went here, went there, went there.
How many times do you want
he did not say anything?
Can you allow him to speak when he's speaking so that you can understand what he's trying to say?
The problem I always have with you. And
let me solve that problem.
Solve the problem.
When he's speaking, please allow him to speak for your viewers, for you as well, to understand his point. Because he's making much points.
When he's making the viewers angry, also, I should be able to.
Which one? Who told you that?
Ask him.
They're not okay with it. Because you want him to convince the viewers. Whilst he's speaking the facts.
What fact is that?
He's giving you so many proofs, facts.
Okay, fine.
That you are not able to learn from.
You don't see the facts, right? You are always having the facts right?
I'm asking you.
No, you are always having the facts.
Which one should I put?
Okay, fine.
Which one should I put?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Which one should I put on this?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you are always right. How do we value a country that he's doing better?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No, you know. How do we?
As a Nigerian, you must know.
You said
give them.
Okay, fine. You said your one. You said one state in Nigeria is bigger than Ghana. Blah blah. A whole lot of stories.
What's that doing?
Okay, fine.
In there.
Fine. A country is being rated by the GDP. I said no two ways about that. Nigeria's GDP is far bigger than Ghana. I'm not. It's a fact. One, good. That is. But how do we measure that a country is doing better?
I don't know.
Go and do your research.
Let me bring it down.
Go and do your research.
Let me break it down. What is the GD? What is Nigerian GDP per capita? What is Nigerian GDP per capita?
I don't know. So you should shine right now.
Nigerian GDP per capita is $1,080 if you're supposed to share the money you are having for the whole of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Good. And Ghana GDP per capita is $2,000 per Ghanaian.
Okay.
Good. Hold on.
Wait.
Let me
that,
talk.
Yes,
let him finish.
In that
so
aspect,
that you say he will not bring out what he wants. Continue.
In that
no,
aspect,
I don't think.
In that aspect,
Continue.
we should check Lagos GDP per capita to the people in Lagos. Or Abia State GDP per capita to the people.
When is the national when they are doing GDP? Do they mention Bayelsa State or whatever?
No.
They say national GDP, right or wrong?
Relax.
No, I'm asking a question.
You are comparing Ghana to Nigeria. You know, sometimes it used to be cruise, but it has come to the point that is no longer. I don't know if you understand. We used to have last born that we refer to the person in Nigeria, say, you to the open eye, you don't get respect. This is when it has to do with Ghana. And until the open eye, you don't get respect. No, honestly, wait.
We want to bring this one down. Let the people listen. Okay, fine. I'm listening to you. Okay, good.
How many peacekeeping mission? See, you know, even if I started comparing all this kind of thing to Ghana, it's still a slap. But
bring it on.
You know, you are part of ECOWAS, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when ECOWAS has to go peacekeeping, what military do they use for that peacekeeping?
We haven't Ghanaian military men go for.
I asked this question, then I said my mouth.
I said Ghanaian military men even play major role than you.
Gambia president, there was election last, I think, what was his name? Something Ume, or I cannot remember exactly his name. Gambia president that had election, lost that election, and he refused to hand over power. Who removed him from power?
If your military.
Listen, we are talking about Gambia. You know, do you know a country called Gambia in West Africa?
You're asking me, do I know a Gambia?
Yes.
Yesterday I met a Gambian guy.
Who removed that person? Who made that person run from Gambia? A president in Gambia.
That one. If I have no idea of that.
You don't have idea.
I don't know.
So they have military that can. You have military.
Hold on.
No, son of God. Let me come in. You have military that can sack someone president from the position, right? But you see where you are taking the case. You see where you are taking it to. Your country needs help.
What help is that?
Your president.
Even not their president. You will not take it far.
He is.
You will not take it far.
He is the most seriously. These people, they need a therapist.
Yeah, I'm coming. Whoever can stay like this and argue with a Ghanaian for 30 minutes needs therapy. That's one I agree. But what I'm saying, something happened last month. There was ongoing coup in one of the African countries, and a country in West Africa stopped that ongoing coup. What country was that?
I don't know. Tell me.
This one you will not know.
Yeah.
Now, it be like only gossip news they hear.
You have to solve your problem.
Okay.
The problem that I have on Nigerians is they don't even know how to solve their own problem, but they wanted to solve people's problem.
You heard about that news?
Going on? What is going on? Kidnapping and so many things. Criminal rates are going higher every time.
Anytime I sit down with big influential,
sit down and solve your problem.
There's no kidnapping in Ghana.
There are more people in Nigeria without electricity than anywhere else in the world. Why? Hello? Guys, can I get some lights, please? Nigeria has the 6th largest population in the world, with over 230 million people. But decades of underinvestment into its power sector has meant that the quality has not kept pace with the country's growth. Worse still, more than 90 million Nigerians don't have any electricity at all. That's the highest number of any country. The country has the potential to be Africa's economic powerhouse, but to do so, it needs electricity. Now, plenty of poor countries struggle with inconsistent power, but Nigeria's grid is especially bad. It's never carried more than 6 gigawatts. To put that into perspective, Bangladesh, a smaller and until recently poorer country than Nigeria, carries nearly 3 times as much. The grid's job is to carry electricity from power plants to homes and businesses. But in Nigeria, the grid is still run by the government, and it just keeps collapsing. This shaky grid limits the amount of electricity that the government can buy from generator companies, and that then discourages them from making more electricity. This lack of grid power is making industrialization and the use of heavy machinery much harder. An inconsistent power supply also discourages foreign investment. Plans to improve the grid haven't had much success. One partnership between the Nigerian government and Siemens, a German firm, is supposed to add 12 gigawatts to the grid's output. But the initiative has only completed a pilot stage since it was signed 6 years ago. With government plans faltering, many Nigerians are taking matters into their own hands. Businesses in Nigeria spend a staggering $22 billion a year on generator fuel to compensate for the frequent power outages. Tech entrepreneurs, for example, have started to build their own power plants just to run their data centers. Low-interest loans from the World Bank and the African Development Bank have helped to build a few off-grid solar projects. But such projects alone will not cover Nigeria's massive electricity shortfall. If this gaping electricity problem is not fixed, the economy will continue to operate below capacity. Nigeria cannot be Africa's economic powerhouse until it can power its own houses.
Enugu City undoubtedly is one of the most beautiful cities in Nigeria. But Enugu has a problem, and that is a water problem. See all these tanks here? They all belong to this apartment, and each apartment has its own tank. But if I tell you that Enugu has this problem where water from underground stops flowing and you can't pump water for, let me say, for some days or maybe a couple of weeks or so, so they can't pump water into the tank, and they are being forced to fetch water outside or source water from another source, maybe get a tank or so. So as you can see here, you see people are trying to get water from maybe an external tap.
Did you ever thank life for what you have? Because in Makoko, Lagos, Nigeria, reality looks very different. Hidden from the world's eyes, this floating slum survives where land ends and water begins. Here, more than 20,000 people live in wooden houses built on stilts above polluted waters. They bathe, wash, and even fish in the same water that carries waste. There's no clean drinking water, no solid ground beneath their feet. Yet somehow, there's laughter. Children paddle to school in wooden boats. Parents row to floating markets. And life moves on over the waves. Makoko is called the Venice of Africa, but unlike Venice, it's built from survival, not luxury. So the next time you complain about small things, remember, for some, even clean water is a dream. Would you dare to live here and still smile?
Bro, this is actually insane, literally insane. So pictured here is Nigerian President Bola Tinubu. That's Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria right now. And it seems to be there's elections going on or something like that. All right, so as this article states, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu faces new challenge to election victory as opposition claims he forged his American university diploma. They will present new evidence to support its court challenge, seeking to overturn this year's Nigerian presidential election, saying it can show the declared winner provided faked academic credentials to authorities, according to AP News. Basically, the man is claiming that his opposition, the dude he's going against, claimed that he forged his American university diploma, which is actually absolutely insane. So not only did you do that in a country that's not your, the country that you were born in, you did it in the country that you went to go get education from. So, you potentially forged your diploma or lied about it all these years. And additionally, this ended up being the supreme person of the country. Like, that's your president. The president has all the power of that specific country. The person who's usually, for presidents, they're the ones who strive for change and economic reasons. They strive to give us all opportunities in the world. That's what presidents do. So for this to be something that's claimed to happen to your president is actually embarrassing. And I hope that more information comes out of the situation. And I hope that it's false information on top of that. But we'll see. I want to see what happens. Let me know in the comments if you guys think this is some false information, or you think that that's what happened. Let me know any details y'all have on this. I'm looking into it now. It's crazy stuff.
Now, if your own president got a fake degree, what do you think the people that are poor are going to do? You know, so that's not very encouraging for them not to, scam and do all these fake degrees when the president himself of Nigeria got a fake degree. Ah, oh, man. Oh, man. You can't make it up, y'all. You literally cannot make this up. Yeah, well, you can understand why so many of them got fake degrees. If the man on top got them, I mean, what do you expect the people on the bottom to do? But look, it's wrong to fake a degree, especially if you're in the medical field where you're dealing with people and you are dealing with people's lives. But on a human level, I kind of understand, especially the ones that are poor living in these slums. They see those fake degrees as a way out of all that poverty. So that's why they go for it. I'm sure many of them know it's a chance they can get caught, but they go for it. But yeah, that's pretty bad when your own president even sitting there with some fake mess. I mean, come on. Even your president is faking the funk. Y'all, this is what I have for you. But no, don't let these people come and try to tell you you're doing worse than them. We can shut that mess down, and we should. Now you got all the ammunition to do it. Plain and simple. But them coming over here and they're doing better than us is the biggest lie going, y'all. It is the biggest lie. There's no truth in that. So, y'all, let me thank Jashawn Page. Thank you so much for the super chat. How are you, Lisa? My order 12 Tribe products came today. I will use it in my head tomorrow. Thank you so much. Oh, well, you're welcome. And I thank you for bringing that up. Y'all, don't forget to use the discount during checkout. Just scroll down and you'll see a spot to put in a coupon code. Put in weekend 37, like it's one word, and you'll get the 37% off, because I see some of the orders and some of y'all are not taking advantage of the discount. So make sure you type that in when you get to your checkout. It should be right below. Just scroll down. You might have to scroll down a little bit, but you should see a spot that says coupon code. Just type in weekend 37 and it should deduct off the amount for your 37% off. So y'all, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you on the next live. Shalom, family.